How many people did John Wayne Gacy kill? Unmasking the true horror behind the killer clown of Chicago. Introduction: the chilling shadows of suburbia. Imagine a quiet suburban neighborhood, a place where families gather for barbecues, children ride their bikes down tree-lined streets, and the local community feels safe. Now, imagine that beneath one of these seemingly ordinary homes lies a secret so horrifying it would haunt the nation for decades. This was the reality of John Wayne Gacy's house in Norwood Park, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, a place where the American dream turned into an unthinkable nightmare. What happened behind Gacy's closed doors? How did a friendly, community-minded man become one of the most prolific serial killers in American history? And most haunting of all, how many people did John Wayne Gacy really kill? The early life and dual persona of John Wayne Gacy. Before delving into the gruesome details of his crimes, it's important to understand the man behind the mask. Born in 1942, John Wayne Gacy seemed in many ways to be an upstanding citizen. He was a successful contractor, a party clown known as Pogo, and even a Democratic precinct captain. Gacy's public persona was that of a gregarious neighbor, always willing to lend a hand or entertain children at local events. But beneath the surface, Gacy harbored dark urges. He was a master of deception, able to charm adults, gain the trust of teenagers, and convince his victims that they were safe. This duality would become central to his ability to evade suspicion for so long. The pattern of his crimes: a calculated predator. Gacy's killing spree began in 1972 with his first known victim, Timothy McCoy, a 16-year-old whom Gacy met at a Greyhound bus station. McCoy was on a layover in Chicago, hoping to return home to Nebraska. Instead, he became the first of Gacy's many victims, fatally stabbed in Gacy's home. What followed was a meticulously executed pattern of predation. Over the next 6 years, Gacy lured at least 32 more boys and young men into his house. His methods were chilling, luring the victims. Many were enticed by promises of work at Gacy's construction company or simply by his friendly demeanor. Some were runaways or youths looking for a place to stay. The magic trick. Gacy would often perform what he called a magic trick, convincing his victims to try on handcuffs. Once restrained, their fate was sealed: drug and alcohol use. He sometimes gave his victims alcohol or drugs, further subduing them. Sexual assault, torture, and murder. Gacy sexually assaulted, tortured, and ultimately killed his victims, most often by strangulation or asphyxiation. Gacy's ability to blend into his community allowed him to continue his horrific acts, undetected, for years. The horrifying discovery: bodies beneath the floorboards. The scope of Gacy's crimes only began to unravel after the disappearance of 15-year-old Robert Piest in December 1978. Piest was last seen leaving work to talk to Gacy about a potential summer job. When he failed to return home, his worried family contacted police, who soon began to focus their investigation on Gacy. A search of Gacy's home revealed evidence connecting him to Piest and other missing boys. What they found beneath his house shocked even the most seasoned detectives: the remains of 29 victims, buried in the crawl space and backyard. 4 more bodies were later discovered in the nearby Des Plaines River. In total, authorities linked Gacy to the deaths of at least 33 boys and young men. Unidentified victims and ongoing efforts. Despite exhaustive efforts by investigators, identifying all of Gacy's victims proved a monumental challenge. Many of the boys were runaways with no one immediately searching for them, which complicated the process. Over the decades, advances in forensic science and DNA technology have led to the identification of several previously unknown victims. As late as 2021, the Cook County Sheriff's Office announced new identifications, but 5 victims remain nameless to this day. Their families, if any are alive, may never know what happened to their loved ones. The aftermath: conviction, hints of more victims, and a haunting legacy. Gacy was arrested in December 1978 and eventually charged with 33 counts of murder. In 1980, he was convicted and sentenced to death. He spent 14 years on death row, during which he sometimes hinted at having killed even more boys and young men. However, he never provided details, and no additional victims have been conclusively linked to him. Gacy was executed by lethal injection on May 10, 1994. But the questions, the pain, and the mystery surrounding his crimes linger on. The lasting impact on communities and crime investigation. The Gacy case profoundly changed the way authorities investigate missing persons cases, especially those involving teenagers and runaways. In the 1970s, it was common for police to assume that missing teens had simply run away from home. Gacy exploited this attitude, targeting those who were least likely to be missed quickly. Today, law enforcement agencies are much more proactive in searching for missing youths, and new databases and DNA registries have been established to help identify unknown victims. The Gacy case is often cited as a turning point in the recognition of serial predation and the importance of treating every missing person report seriously. The monster behind the mask. Why does Gacy fascinate and terrify us? There is something uniquely chilling about John Wayne Gacy, a man who could don a clown costume and make children laugh, then transform into a remorseless killer once the party was over. His crimes tap into our deepest fears, that evil can hide behind a friendly face, that our children can disappear without a trace, that the world is not as safe as we want to believe. For decades, true crime enthusiasts, criminologists, and psychologists have tried to understand what drove Gacy to such extremes. Was it his troubled childhood, his struggles with his sexuality, or was he simply a psychopath devoid of empathy or remorse? The answers remain elusive, but the fascination endures. Remembering the victims, names, stories, and lost futures. While Gacy's name is infamous, it's crucial to remember that his victims were real people, boys and young men with dreams, families, and entire lives ahead of them. Some have been identified and honored by their loved ones, while others remain nameless, reminders of the case's unresolved pain. Here are just a few of the victims who have been identified. Timothy McCoy, 16, Gacy's first known victim, John Butkovich, 17, a Gacy employee, Robert Peast, 15, whose disappearance led to Gacy's arrest. And the list goes on, each name representing a life cut tragically short. Conclusion: the dark legacy of John Wayne Gacy. So, how many people did John Wayne Gacy kill? The answer, confirmed by authorities, is at least 33. But the true number may never be known. The scars left by his crimes run deep, not just for the families of his victims, but for the entire nation. Gacy's horrifying legacy serves as a warning and a call to vigilance. His story is a testament to the importance of community awareness, the necessity of robust investigative work, and the enduring need to seek justice, even decades after the crimes have been committed. The story of John Wayne Gacy isn't just about numbers or headlines. It's about lives lost, innocence shattered, and a nation forced to confront the darkness that can exist in plain sight.